Hello, my name is Lana Chikhungu and I'm the course leader for MSc International Development at University of Portsmouth. I'm glad to have this opportunity to talk you through this information on the MSID to help you make a decision on whether this is the right course for you. So I do have a few slides, about 20 minutes, and hopefully I'm going to answer the kind of questions that I tend to be asked by prospective students. However, if I don't, then feel free to email me. I'm going to provide you with an email address at the end, and then we can further communicate via the email. But I'm also happy to arrange a meeting if this is what you'd like to do, and this could be via Zoom or over the telephone, whichever suits you better. So one of the kind of questions that I tend to be asked is, what are the entry requirements? Obviously, that's a logical and expected question. So we do require, as a minimum, a 2.2 in your undergraduate degree, and this should be from a relevant degree, where relevant are mostly social science kind of degrees. So it could be politics, international relations, sociology, criminology. As you can see, international development is multidisciplinary in nature. So it could be education or health. On the health side of it, especially related to programs that relate to working with the people, like could be social work or public health. Not much in programs that are very sciencey or biological in nature, like medicine or nursing or engineering. Also, languages can be a bit tricky if it's just pure languages and doesn't involve with it's not involved with working with the people and looking at the interactions with society. However, if your degree is less than a 2.2, we can still consider your application as long as you provide a CV showing that you've done work in this international development field, as well as a strong personal statement stipulating what you expect to get from the course. So basically, we don't want students to enroll the course and then later on realize that they are on the wrong course. So either you've got a lower qualification or maybe your degree is not that relevant, as I explained, being very, very science, a pure science kind of degree. Then in those circumstances, you can still be considered as long as you've got some relevant work experience, but also you've provided very strong personal statement showing your clear understanding of what the course offers and the intention or your career intentions for the future. And we also provide recognition for prior learning. So in case you did a similar course either at the undergraduate level or at the master's level elsewhere, or even here at Portsmouth, you can be considered to pursue this master's, being exempted in those modules that are very, very similar to what we offer on the course. So you could end up doing less number of credits. We require 180 credits, so maybe you could have your credits reduced by 30, and then maybe you do 150 credits, just for example. So in that case, all you need to do is apply through the course administrator, indicating that you have some prior learning. You'll be given a specific form, and then you need to indicate the learning outcomes on that particular module, and the assessor will just look at whether there's a match between what you took and what we offer for the exemption to be offered to you. Okay, so here's the International Development Teaching Team, so that you just have an idea of who will be teaching you. Isabel Cheng is the module coordinator for an optional module called Migration and Human Insecurity. I teach and coordinate 3 modules. 2 are core modules, applied research methods for development and theory and practice of development. And then the option module is population health and development. Ben Ghana contributes to the teaching of one of the core modules, the theory and practice of development. Pierre coordinates and teaches an optional module called Economics of Development. And then we have Anmatia. She coordinates and teaches on 2 option modules. One is called Facing Up to the Challenges of Transitional Justice, and the other one is called Education and Development. Otis is the coordinator and lecturer on Gender for Development Cooperation. And then Monica Riera is the dissertation coordinator. And then Olivia Rutezibwa contributes to the teaching of the module on Migration and Human Insecurity, which is coordinated by Isabel Chen. Then we also have 3 professors that contribute to the teaching of this course, mainly through dissertation supervision. So if it turns out that maybe your dissertation topic aligns very well with the research that they do, they're available for you to choose them to be supervisors for your dissertation. So Tamzin is mainly focused in research related to gender, violence against women more especially. Tony Schaeffer is a specialist in Francophone Africa. He's a historian and he mainly does research on peace and security. And then you have Andrew Thorpe, who is a professor in economics, and he mainly works on environmental economics topics. And here the core modules again, just to make it clear in your mind. Obviously it's always easier when you look at print. So we have the theory and practice of development, which is offered in the first semester, and then we have the applied research methods for development, which is offered in the second semester. And the dissertation module is a year-long module coordinated by Monica Riera, and I do coordinate those 3 core modules. Those 2 core modules. And in the semester 1, we have the following option modules: Gender for Development Cooperation, Facing Up to the Challenges of Transitional Justice, Population Health and Development. So a student is offered all these 3 options, and you just choose one option. And if you're doing a full-time structure, it means you take one of the options together with the co-option. So you have 2 modules in one semester. But if you're doing part-time, this reduces to just basically in the first year you only be doing 1 core module per semester. And then when it comes to the second year, that's when you do your option modules together with your dissertation. So in semester 2, the options, that is in semester 2, that's from January to May, the option modules are Economics of Development, Education and Development, Migration and Human Insecurity. So if it turns out that maybe you do like options from one semester more than the ones offered in the other semester, your choice is that you just have to take more modules in one semester. So that can obviously mean that you have an imbalanced workload. But if that's what you prefer, students are free to do that. You just have to weigh out the benefits of that and the cost of it, and make a decision appropriately. Okay, so we have 2 course structures. We have the 2 years part-time course structure, in where students take 2 core modules in the first year, and then in the second year they'll do the 2 option modules and their dissertation. And then the 1 year full-time, basically everything is compressed in 1 year. In the first semester, students will take 1 core module and 1 option, and in the second semester they also do the same, 1 core module and 1 option, and then they will also do that along with their dissertation. However, there's a difference because we do have September and the January start. So depending on where you start, you have to think carefully here, especially if you decide to do full-time. I would say that it does seem to be better. A better arrangement seems to be starting in September, because you do your 2 core modules, first semester, second semester, finish the other 2 core modules, and then you have more time to focus on your dissertation, having completed your modules, your taught part in the summer for submission in September. However, if you start in January, it can be a bit challenging, especially if your decision is to do this full time, because you do your 2 modules at the beginning in the second semester, and then you have to already start working in your dissertation, and you have to try to work on your dissertation over summer, still knowing that you have 2 modules here to complete. And then when it comes to September, you'll still be working on your dissertation, and as well as have to complete the other 2 modules. So just some advice there, that most likely, or the best option really for full-time is a September start. However, the choice is up to the student. You never know, flexibilities and what we like is different. So that was just a piece of advice. So how many hours of study a student is expected to allocate to the course per week? So it depends whether you're full-time or part-time, but just as an indicative value, we say 300 notional hours per module. So a module runs for 11 to 12 weeks. So in that period, you're expected to dedicate 300 notional hours. So that works out to be 25 hours of study per module per week. And that's just an estimate really. And it all depends on your background, whether you have good knowledge and the speed of work. Some people can actually grasp the content much quicker, whilst others maybe might need more time. So just as an indicative is 25 hours, but most likely it's going to be much less. I think this is more on the higher side than just an average really. And if you're working full-time, it's most likely that you're not going to want to look at this as hours per week. You're most likely going to just look at maybe as a whole, because in some circumstances, students who are studying and they're working full-time tend to go ask for annual leave or take some days off where they just focus and do their work and then go back to work, rather than do that like every week or every day. However, the expectation really is that you will be accessing the model and at least having a good grasp of what is being offered every week. But I think the challenge is to getting yourself that in-depth understanding and completing assessment, and that is where maybe more hours are needed for a student to allocate their time to. We do provide a variety of assessments, which is, I would say, a good feature of this course. So apart from the usual essay, which most students have done at the undergraduate level, students also do country reports, policy briefs, discussion forum, and the policy brief is specific to a module, and the same relates to country reports. These are kind of assessments that are offered on the option module, so it all depends on what option module you choose to do. However, the discussion forum is for all, because it's part of the core module, the theory and practice of development. So this is where students get a chance to provide the feedback on the content. Basically, this could just be reacting, commenting, but also as a part of assessment, students are given a question, like a seminar question, and they will be reacting and posting their comments, obviously, in a professional and academic way, and taking into account the literature resources which they've made use of. So it's a good way of engaging students, but also students learning from each other. We have the social enterprise project, which is related to the practical part of the theory and practice core module. And then the data analysis project is part of the applied research methods for development module. Students get to learn SPSS, and as part of the assessment, they get to manipulate quantitative data, that's large pieces of data, and then analyze it, but also interpret the data. So it's quite interesting. Although students start with being scared, most of them tend to succeed. So it's very applied in nature, very practical, and easy for students to learn. And we do have the module assessment information available on module descriptors, which can be accessed via the module website. So if you're interested in knowing more about modules, the content, the learning outcomes, the readings list, the module coordinators again, and the assessment type, that can be accessed via the module website. All you need to do is send me an email, and then I'll provide you the link to the module website. And just to also let you know that in terms of the content or the amount of work that you expected, the maximum number of words is 6,000 words for I would say nearly all these assessments. All the assessments except for the data analysis project, where you're expected to meet a certain number of pages, because it's data analysis anyway. So expect about between 5,000 to 6,000 words as the number of the amount of work you're expected to do on most of the assessments that are offered on the course. And when you're done with the course, you're expected to have completed 180 credits and get your MSc. However, if it so happens that for any other unforeseen circumstances you've had to quit the course, and then you can be offered some exit awards like a postgraduate certificate in international development after completing 60 credits, or you can get a postgraduate diploma if you have completed 120 credits. So each module, as I mentioned, is 30 credits. So for postgraduate certificate, it means you've completed 2 modules, and for the postgraduate diploma, it means you've completed all the 4 modules, that is the 2 core modules and 2 option modules. And the completion of the dissertation is what allows you to get the MSc in International Development. So we are good at providing student support, I should say, in all areas. Especially the learning development tutors are very, very good for supporting students, especially that do not have English as their first language. It can be challenging, especially to present work academically, professionally, but using that good English. And linked to that, we have also the free online course on English for academic purposes, which can be accessed and obviously be used especially for the same group of students as well. Apart from that, we have the personal tutor. So every student is allocated a personal tutor at the beginning of the academic year, right when they start at the university. And the personal tutor is the first point of contact if you have any issues relating to your study, especially if it's for the smooth running of your study. So however, if you have a question related to the material of your module, obviously the best person to ask is the module coordinator. Okay, so you get an opportunity to discuss any issues with the personal tutor over the email or via Zoom or Skype face to face, which is a good way of really getting engaged, getting to know, the academics closely, but also the academics to get to know you much better, and also help you with progressing with your studies smoothly. So we do value feedback from students a lot. So we have course representatives at the moment. For example, we have 3 course representatives because we have the continuing students and then we have the new cohort. of the full-time and part-time, and so that's why we have three course representatives. And what they do is they sit in the student voice committee. They will present any issues from the fellow students, and obviously to just get those issues resolved, and then they'll get to feedback to their fellow students what has been agreed on any issues that were raised. Apart from that, we have the formal feedback system through student surveys for each module, teaching, assessment, presentation, and any issues. But also feedback is also provided on the whole course in general at the end of the year. So that comes later on and is largely aimed at helping improvement of the modules and the course as we go forward. However, there's continuous support from the module coordinators and obviously the course lead as well. So do not wait until it's the end of the year and then you have to fill in the feedback forms, or you wait until the course representatives have to ask you for feedback for presentation at the student voice committee, because that could be a bit too late in some circumstances. Help is always available along throughout the course of your study, and please make use of that so that you get helped during your study and not just provide feedback for the future. So some students tend to ask about placements and internships. So I should say that most of the students doing this course are already working, and others are planning to get career in international development. But the majority are already working and are looking to improve skills on the job or get a promotion. Okay, so we're still exploring about internship and placements, but we do have a placements and internship center at the university that provide advice on placements and internships, although it's mostly geared for the undergraduate, and we're still in the process of seeing how that can be linked and how that can support the postgraduates. We do have the Ashnaga internship program, which is an English teaching program, which happens in Japan and Uganda. And if this is an area that could be of interest to you, you could there's the information on this, and I could link you up. I mean, that is if you go on to take the course. That is. We also have the UN online volunteer program for obviously if you'd like to start getting yourself getting to know what the UN does, contributing to that. That could be a very good way of improving your CV as well, but the work is on a voluntary basis. Okay, so yes, briefly, that's what I had to say. I hope I have answered most of the questions that you had about the course. However, if I haven't, feel free to email me. That's my email address, lana.chikhungu@port.ac.uk. I'll be happy to clarify any issues that needs clarification over the email, but also I'm happy to talk to you via Zoom or Skype, whichever suits you better, or it could be a phone call. Right, thank you very much. Bye-bye.